Hello and welcome to Showcase Sunday with Alison McGee-Barker at AJ Lates Consultancy and Training. And I am here with Hannah Cleasby, who's going to be talking to us on mental health awareness, but what she does in HC training. And the reason why we do Showcase Sunday is so that we can showcase businesses who can help other businesses and help people, business owners, managers and teams throughout their working life, but also individuals. And we're here to help support you to sustain and future-proof what you do in your business and help you be able to manage it more effectively and efficiently moving forward. So let us go over to Hannah, who we're going to ask. Obviously, Hannah, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do in your business?
My name's Hannah and I own HC Training, and through that I deliver mental health first aid and mental health awareness courses on behalf of Mental Health First Aid England. I also offer bespoke mental health training for any organisation. So my background is quite varied. I've got quite a lot of experience working with both young people and adults with mental health conditions and issues. I'm actually a primary school teacher, and I'm currently on maternity leave, going back very, very shortly. I've also worked as an assistant psychologist, working with people with acquired brain injuries and helping them overcome their mental health conditions associated with those brain injuries. So I've got quite a lot of experience, and at the moment I'm delivering mental health training online, and it's really worthwhile because mental health is such an important topic and everybody has it, and we need to get that message out there and educate people so that the stigma and discrimination that still is associated with mental health starts to be reduced.
I agree. I think I know industries all over the world, people are still trying to talk through, trying to break down the barriers. It is still there, unfortunately. It is interesting when you speak to people who have had mental health issues and not actually broach the subject, but if they've broken the leg, then they're allowed time off, and it's great that we have yourself who's going to obviously break down those barriers but make people aware. And I think, you know, the more we see with suicides or sick days, etc., coming off businesses, but also, you know, anxiety and fear, because the pandemic that we've been in has created lots of fear, stress, anxiety, people all over who possibly would never have experienced that before. And I think this is where it's so important that, you know, going on one of your courses or being aware is so vital. And what makes you yourself, Hannah, unique and different? Because you've just said about working in psychology and in a brain injury unit, that in itself is extremely unique to be able to deliver this, because you are completely aware of what people go through in different stages.
Yeah, absolutely. So the mental health first aid course is through Mental Health First Aid England that I deliver. It's the only accredited mental health first aid training in England currently. Obviously, I've got a very varied background, lots of life experience as well, personally and professionally, and I think that always brings something new to the table. The courses that I offer at the moment obviously deliver face-to-face, you know, wherever, but we also deliver them all online as well now, and that I think is unique in a way, because there's no longer any geographical restrictions, so people can, you know, join these courses wherever they are in this country, wherever they are in the world, really. You know, there's no restrictions in that sense. And also, you know, mental health affects every single person. We all have it. So I think that's unique in that, you know, everybody needs to have some sort of knowledge of mental health, and it's accessible now. It didn't used to be, you know, people would only learn necessarily about mental health if they worked in that area or they had that particular role in the workplace maybe, but now anybody can join these courses. I think this is pre-COVID. There was something like 70 million working days were lost every year to mental health conditions, at a cost of something like 70 to 100 billion to the, you know, to business, which is absolutely massive. And I mean, part of, I think, the reason why that happens is people aren't comfortable in the workplace about talking about mental health. You know, they're frightened that it might impact their chances of promotion or how people view their ability to do the job, and it's just not true. So we need to create safe spaces and safe workplaces where people can quite happily talk about their mental health, because we all have it. It's not, you know, it's not specific to certain people. Everybody has it. And if we can do that, spot those signs, prevent mental health conditions developing into something more serious, then, you know, it's a win-win for everybody, isn't it?
Oh, incredibly, incredibly. And those figures are mind-blowing. They really are frightening. And you just think, what? That's just pre-COVID. What on earth is it going to be like if we do not get under the skin of this and actually deal with it effectively now?
It's something like 1 in 4 adults experience a mental health issue at any time, and I think it was 1 in 10 children. I wouldn't be surprised if those figures are increasing rapidly.
And I think what we've got to look at is what do you feel many businesses or many business owners and managers are getting wrong right now that you know they should be addressing? What is it that they're doing wrong?
I think a lot of it is that we don't openly talk about mental health. We don't feel comfortable being able to do that in the workplace, that we may be judged and discriminated against, and unfortunately that does happen. So I think if we can break down those barriers and educate people about what mental health is and how we can manage it and develop, you know, our own coping strategies and look after our own well-being, and, you know, make sure that people feel comfortable to reach out when they need to, then we can avoid getting into those situations where people have to take time off work because their mental health is deteriorating. And I think a lot of workplaces, they don't have qualified mental health first aiders, they don't have people with the knowledge, the skills and the confidence to talk about mental health, and that's one of the things that I do through my training is you know, develop people's confidence to have those conversations, because they can be and they are difficult at times. You know, approaching somebody and talking about things like suicide, you know, it's absolutely terrifying, but through the courses, you know, you're prepared for those things, you're given the skills, the knowledge and the confidence, most importantly, to tackle those difficult conversations and make your workplace, your family, your friendship group that safe place where people can openly talk about mental health, and, you know, that's good for everybody.
Oh, massively. And I think, you know, when you look at the awareness of it, and you're right, you know, the amount of business owners I speak to across the UK who say, oh, it's all right, we talk to our teams, we take time out and say, are you all right? And I think, goodness me, after listening to you, that's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough, because they're not picking up if they've got a mood swing or they've not been sleeping okay.
It's that key ability of being able to spot those early warning signs, you know, not waiting till there's a full breakdown, but spotting those little changes in behaviour in your employees, your colleagues, your friends, your family, and acting straight away rather than ignoring it, for seeing how it goes, you know, spotting those signs, because there are an awful lot of signs that when a lot of people come on the courses and obviously we go through all this, and then they say, I've seen that in such a body, I've seen that, if only I'd seen that and knew that's what it possibly was indicating, I could have done something, I could have made a difference, I could have changed the way things, you know, turned out. And I think it's being able to spot those signs and act is really, really important.
Massively. I think we all learned last February, didn't we? You know, not this last February, the February before, poor Caroline Flack. You know, that was a big beacon of light shining, saying, "Goodness me, we need to wake up now. This is ridiculous." And hashtag Be Kind was born. Funnily enough, it didn't follow through. Then, as soon as COVID hit, because the fear, the anxiety, the denial, the shock, and everything else kicked in, which brought in all sorts of other elements. And I think it's interesting how people handle different situations differently. And I've seen, you know, in my career, where two individuals could be in the same room experiencing the same thing, but see it completely differently to the other one. And it's, you know, being completely aware. And you've just shared some tips there about, you know, certain things to look out for. And what testimonials is that, where you actually have got people who said, "Gosh, I've seen that," and it's awful that you see it in hindsight, but how amazing would it be if you're proactive and prepared by going on one of your courses and being aware, but also being able to access some you know, positive education and knowledge to be able to tackle the tools and techniques to be able to tackle and help and support not just your team but their families and yourself as well. You know, noticing, oh, I've been a bit like that recently, or something's, you know, come up. So tell me a bit more about what your clients say. What do they say? What would your, when your clients have gone through the experience of the mental health awareness and the mental health first aid training, what is it that they would tell somebody else thinking about it? You know, what is it that they come away saying? You've just highlighted some of the areas that they wish they'd have known earlier, and it's made them more aware. But what is it that they would tell your future clients, for example?
I think that the overwhelming response from people that have gone through the training is that they wish they'd done it sooner. They wish why haven't they done it before? That everybody should do the training, so that they've got that knowledge and the awareness. I think one of the overriding things as well is people think they know what mental health is, and until they've actually done a mental health first aid course, they don't really understand what mental health means, and actually, you know, what it encompasses, and how it doesn't. It's often viewed as something quite negative, and actually it can be something really positive. But yeah, absolutely everybody, I think, that comes on the training is really pleased that they've done it and feels confident to be able to have those conversations, and they all go away and say to their colleagues, their friends, their family, you need to do this, you need to. I know the first time I went on the training many moons ago, I sat there and thought, why doesn't everybody in a school have to do this training before they set foot in a school? Because that's how I got into it, through the youth course, obviously being a teacher, and I just sat there and I thought, why we taught this at university? This is like vital, and the feedback from everybody is very similar, that, you know, it's really worthwhile. They've learned an awful lot. They're going to apply it to you know, within their workplace, within their home life, with their, you know, their friends, and yeah, and it's really good, and it's lovely to hear that as well.
I think knowing that the impact seems to be a major issue for a lot of people, that if they get it wrong, the impact could be life or death. In all essence, it could be as severe as that.
Yeah.
But you did mention, you know, the cost to people, but the cost to businesses, the cost to families, friends of those they love. You know, if you can all help and support them.
I think you're right there. I think, you know, there is obviously a massive financial impact of mental health, but if you by doing one of the courses you can save a life, it's completely worthwhile. And in fact, I've had a few emails in the last few months of people who have done the training, and they've been in a situation where you know, something's happened and they've known exactly what to do, exactly what to say, and they've had a really positive outcome. And when I get those emails, I think that's it, we've made a difference, and that's what it's all about. And it's just knowing where to go for help as well. And you know, obviously the training doesn't turn you into a therapist, it doesn't turn you into someone to solve all, you know, mental health problems, but it gives you that confidence to help that person, support them, validate that their feelings are real, and you know, make them have hope for the future. And that is what it's all about.
It's critical, isn't it? And I think so do you, when they've been on your course, you signpost them to be able to look for help and assistance as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the things, so in the course you learn about mental health as a whole. You look at your own well-being as well, and your own levels of stress and coping strategies that you might use, or helpful ones and unhelpful. So it focuses very much on self-care as well. We look at certain mental health conditions: anxiety, depression, self-harm, eating disorders, suicide and psychosis. And for all of those, we go through an action plan whereby we take you step by step in how you would approach somebody, how you would listen to them, how you would give them support and information, how you would encourage them to get the appropriate professional help, and then also encourage other supports as well. So for each of those conditions, you've got a step-by-step guide of what to do. As part of the training, the full mental health first aid course, you also get a manual which is jam-packed with information about mental health, all the associated conditions, and helplines and references and places that you can access help. And I mean, it's a really thick book. There's so much that people can access, and then anything that comes up in addition to that, you know, obviously I will pass that on to people as well, because there's all sorts of online things, apps now, you know, to help with things like self-harm and relaxation. There's just so much out there. Sometimes 2 days isn't enough to get it all out.
So you've got the courses, obviously you've just mentioned some of the highlights of the courses, but how long are the courses? You've just said 2 days, but what's that, which one's that for?
So the full mental health first aid training is a 2-day course. The online ones are done through a mixture of live sessions with myself and individual learning on a online learning hub that we have. So you have access to like videos, reading, quizzes, things like that, but it's all scheduled in with throughout the 2 days, and it's all broken down, so it's not like you just sat at a computer constantly. You know, we put lots of breaks in as well, because we're looking after self-care and well-being. So that's the full mental health first aid course, both the adult and the youth one. The mental health awareness course is a 3-hour course, because that's more of an introductory session, and again that's online or face-to-face. So
brilliant. And you also do bespoke ones for businesses or individuals, who've got a group together who'd be able to access you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody wants something slightly different, or they want me to run one of the accredited courses just specifically for their group at a specific time, or broken down even into, you know, over several more sessions, if that fits better with their, you know, place of work and things, that's, you know, just whatever, just anyone can get in touch and we can discuss options.
Brilliant. So much to choose from. So how can people access you? Obviously we're going to put all your details, and how can they access you but also your courses?
Yeah, so I've got a website. I know you're going to put the details on at the end. So I've got a website, I'm on Twitter, I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, and obviously I've got an email address, phone, usual contact details. You can even write to me if you wanted to.
Fantastic. And I think you know, when you look at how people can access you, the courses, are they all on your website, or is that something that you send to them?
Yeah, all the courses are listed on my website, and there's links that take you to the direct online booking form if you want to book on one of the scheduled dates. But you know, just email me and I would get in touch with anybody that wanted to book on if they wanted to know anything else as well.
And it would basically benefit everybody, correct?
Absolutely anybody. If you work with any form of human being, whatever age, from birth to whatever age, it is worth doing. If you know people, work with them, live with them, or anything like that, you need to do one of these courses.
And the difference it'll make is?
Absolutely massive. You potentially could save a life, and for me that is so important. But on top of that, you can improve your own well-being, because we look a lot at your own self-care. And you know, it's that analogy, when you're on an aeroplane, the oxygen mask comes down, you've got to put your own mask on first before you help anybody else. It's exactly the same with your mental health. Look after your own first.
Yeah, and it's interesting. A while ago, I was actually asked that question about my children and myself. Who would you put it on? And I know the answer normally, but because I was in a different scenario, I went straight to say, well, I'll put it on my children. And of course, the thing that came back, which really hit me hard, and it's something that I teach now, is that they said, so you'd be happy for your children to watch you slowly die because you couldn't do anything about it. And I thought that actually was something I needed to hear, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And the thing I teach every business that I work with is TFM, which is time for me. It's something I always had throughout my career, working long hours, etc. But the moment you don't put your TFM in your diary is the moment that mental health can start, you know, seeping into negativity and changing the way you do things, and have a massive impact.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you want my 5 top tips?
I was just going to ask, have you got 5 top tips for me?
I have, I've got 5. Okay.
To help and support anybody who's watching this now and can't obviously come straight to you. What are the 5 top tips that you can help and support them right now?
So number 1 would be get talking. Have those conversations and just talk. It is so important. Second tip would be to sort of be aware of what you might be looking for, or any changes in behaviour in people or family, friends, anybody, so that awareness of what might be happening. Obviously, number 3, educate, get yourself booked on a course, get in touch with me, because it's so important. As looking at mental health as a whole and reducing that stigma and discrimination, education is the key for that. Number 4, make that difference. Okay, whether it's in terms of your own well-being and self-care and making that time for yourself, or whether it's making a difference for someone else, just do it. And obviously through that you potentially could save somebody's life as well, which is really key. And number 5, get out of that comfort zone. I know a lot of people are frightened to come on courses like mental health first aid, because they think, I don't know anything about it, I might look like I don't know anything, and it's uncomfortable as well for a lot of people if they've had personal or professional experiences with mental health, and they think it might bring up you know, uncomfortable feelings, which it can do. But get out of that comfort zone, because it's the only way that we can make a difference to mental health.
Massively. Hannah, thank you very much. You have been an absolute joy, and thank you for being my first Sunday showcase business. You brought in so much content that is absolutely incredible, and I will definitely share all your details at the end of this interview. And thank you very much, and we will hopefully be able to see lots of people being completely aware about mental health, and have mental health first aid within every workplace, but also within every home and within every school, to ensure that we can help and support individuals so we don't have a tsunami of mental health and illnesses in the future. It's something that's you know, we know it's coming, so let's stop it before it even well, let's be proactive rather than reactive. Thank you very much, Hannah. Take